Welcome to Michiana Main Lines. Today we're going to do a cab ride, something we talked about before. This is going to be on the Michigan Southern line between Sturgis and Burr, Michigan. We'll take a quick look here at the map and kind of look at where this line is, get our bearings here. There we see White Pigeon, Michigan, Sturgis, Michigan. Highlighted in red is the line that we're going to be on, which ran from Sturgis to Coldwater, Michigan, but we're only going to be kind of in this area where the arrow is dancing right now, Burr, which is kind of between Sturgis and Bronson, Michigan. A good part of this line is gone now, so we're going to start out in Sturgis where the track still exists today, but then we'll be moving eastward here, and the track is probably only still in place by the Michigan Southern for a few miles east of Sturgis, and then from there to west of Coldwater it was abandoned. We'll talk about that a little bit more in a while here. This was a Santa Claus train holiday special that was run in the early 90s. There we get a look at the Sturgis Depot. That was the old Lakeshore and Michigan Southern Depot, which was built in 1895, and that depot was moved in the 2000s, actually 2014. They moved it to a different part of town. So we're getting to depart here eastward. This is RS2 locomotive number 466, built in 1946 and scrapped in 2011. I think they took it out of service around 2005, but Michigan Southern used it for a good many years. We now are approaching Nottawa Street in Sturgis, crossing the street there now. The view, unfortunately, is through tar-spotted windows. This locomotive was pretty much of an oil burner by this time. A lot of soot and debris on the windows. I probably should have scraped them off before we started the trip, but I just wasn't thinking about that. There we see another road crossing up ahead. I believe that is Prospect Street.
Going around the glaciers.
Track is still in place in this area, but used mainly just as a yard lead and car storage. This line in the New York Central days was referred to as the Old Road, which generally meant the entire line which ran eastward from White Pigeon over to Detroit. Coming up to another road crossing there, I believe that would be Lakeview. This line went through Penn Central ownership and then finally into Conrail ownership in 1976. Conrail operated this line until about 1984. They had two locals stationed in Sturgis. One did the local business around town, and then they had the other job which would operate from Sturgis eastward Monday through Friday, and it would run to Quincy to interchange with the Hillsdale County Railroad. I believe this is Big Hill Road. This is where the passengers for the trip will board the train. At that time they weren't allowed to board the train at the depot in Sturgis, something having to do with insurance and ownership. I believe Conrail still owned that track right in front of the depot, and they wouldn't allow any passengers to board there because they didn't want to have to cover it if anything were to happen. Continuing eastward here. Again, back in '84, Conrail stopped operating this line east of Sturgis, and the line was basically dormant for several years. Somewhere about 1989, the St. Joe and Branch County Rail Users Associations bought the line. For a while, the Kalamazoo Lakeshore in Chicago was even the designated operator of portions of this line. But then in 1991, when Michigan Southern came into existence, they started operating the line to Coldwater. This might have been East Lafayette Road, but I'm really not sure at this point. It's such a long time ago. Again, this was probably in the early 90s when this was shot. At some point in the 90s, Indiana Northeastern began having control of operation of this line. And ultimately they were the ones that filed for abandonment. I think that was sometime around 2012 when they did file for abandonment, and the line was basically removed from just east of Sturgis to west of Coldwater. And I think there was talk of a bike trail or something like that. I don't know what the status of that is now. This, I believe, is the Stewart Lake area. Some lakeside homes there. Continuing eastward towards Burr. See a road crossing up ahead. Cloudy, foggy winter day. Dreary and not very good lighting. The snow-covered track. We cross a small bridge, I believe just west of Burr. But it's good we have some history preserved here, not only of this abandoned portion of line, but also of the locomotive. that was Halfway Road in Burr. Now we were heading back westward, and that was about the farthest east that we took this trip to. Again, a look at Burr. Halfway Road again. Look through cleaner windows. Once again, the Stewart Lake area. This line was actually a success story of rail banking. When Conrail stopped service in 1984, it being rail banked by the state for many years before the rail associations bought it, actually allowed for its ultimate survival and its later use. Had Conrail just been allowed to abandon and remove the track in '84, it would have not got any further use. Again, a look at the lakeside homes. A future video will show some freight line action in this Burr Oak area as well as Bronson, and possibly even a little bit near the Coldwater area. An earlier video on this channel shows some still shots around the Sturgis area back when Conrail was still operating. Be sure and check that out if you want any more info on the history of that area. That window is nice and clean, but the view is blocked by the passenger car. You just can't have it all. Stopping to let the passengers get off the train. Look at the inside of the cab.
Get under, you stay. Make sure you
Old but still operational.
Okay, that's enough. Thanks.
back towards Sturgis.
Yeah, there's a lot of shoreline.
Ottawa Street.
Actually, it takes a lot of business to
Get some more good looks here at the locomotive. Making its final maneuvers of the day, getting put to bed for the night. Again, RS2 number 466, built in 46, scrapped in 2011, taken out of service approximately 2005. Another glimpse of the depot. This would be a very fitting shot if this were the last run of the locomotive, but it still had more service to go after this. Hope you've enjoyed this. If you do, like, subscribe. Thanks for watching. Until next time, stay safe.